Stream of Wisdom, Norfolk, Virginia, live on YouTube for Shabbat class. We ask that everybody like, share, like, comment, get the algorithms for the YouTube up. Make sure y'all share it, because for some reason we get more interactions, more views with Facebook, but the YouTube is everybody logging in and sharing the YouTube? That's why we ain't getting no. Y'all gotta do your part, huh?
We sharing.
Yeah, all right. Just two quick announcements. We have the Feast of Purim, which is March the 12th to March 14th. Sundown March 12th to March 14th, right? After that, we will have Passover. Passover is April the 12th. April the 12th. Well,
Back at it again.
God.
It seemed like it just happened.
Yeah, April the 12th in Rochester. The brothers and sisters in Rochester will be hosting. And also, last announcement, the third annual Garment Expo, April 13th in Rochester, New York, hosted by the sisters of Stream of Wisdom, Norfolk, Rochester, and Houston. So the third annual Garment Expo will be April 13th. But we're going to go right into class unless anybody got any questions. Any questions? Got a question?
Go ahead, I got your question.
So, my question is a two-part question.
Yep, the answer is yes.
God. Is it a sin to bury your talents?
The answer is yes.
God. And then it's for
He
those.
told me as I was walking.
Okay. For those.
Yeah, it's a sin to bury your talent. Class would be sufficient though for that, to prove that,
God.
right? But definitely a sin to bury your talent. I mean, simply, let's just put it like this. If it's not a sin, why does he cast you into outer darkness?
God.
Right? You know what I mean? So, like,
That's my brother.
that's what that was your other. That's a lot of brothers and sisters think they don't have to step up to that plate. Like, there's this idea like, oh, I'm not a priest, or I don't have to do what you're doing. Well, then why did he cast them into outer darkness? Why did he say to the virgins, to the ones that had the talents, right, that there had to be some production,
Right.
right? So forget the label of it. You're still supposed to use and do the work, the fruit of the work, right? Then why were you called? Why were you called? Just to be a forever trooper? Now, forget the word trooper. I'll put it in simple biblical context. Forever learning. It says forever learning, but never able to come to the truth. Meaning like what? You're continually on the basics, right? Because if you move off of the basics, the milk, you move into that Hebrews 5, right? To your calling, right? You're a chosen priesthood, right? Royal nation. But go ahead.
Says for those that know the truth and don't increase with the knowledge given, is it a sin? Just answer that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we know my idea of this is, for we know the end result. The tree that don't bear fruit is hewed down and cast into the.
If it's not a sin, why is he destroying you?
God.
Right? Why will you be destroyed? Right? And you look at all those instances, and we could go over it, we could touch on it, refresh on this topic. I know it'll be good for Shawab. I know it'll be good for the new people.
God.
You know what I mean? But the refresh is needed. All right? Was that it?
Is singing and writing music considered a talent?
Is singing and writing music a talent? So we talked about this before. Of course it's a talent. Yes. Changing oil to the car is a talent. When you go to, let's go to, Ecclesiasticus. I had to beam into y'all brains real quick. We all just. But yeah, Ecclesiasticus 39, right? 38. We can go there real quick. Go to Ecclesiasticus 38.
39.
Is it 39? No. It's 38. It's 38 and
31.
start at verse.
Yeah, 38. 26.
I mean, Jesus. Man, let's start truthfully. You know me, Quatzazap is on this too. I like to read in context of what we're talking about. So let's start up. 24.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 38 and verse 24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that hath little business shall become wise. How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow?
Right. Say that one more time.
The wisdom of a learned man
Uh-huh.
cometh by opportunity of leisure,
Right.
and he that hath little business shall become wise.
Right. No. So let's be clear. Two things are happening in here. It's reminding us there's different offices, and what office do you want, right? So we're gonna see how that these things that brothers and sisters do, like that bring to the table, is a gift. It's a gift from the Most High. It's something that can be used for the body. But it's also making it clear that it's going to make it clear that wisdom, right, teaching, being leaders in that office, it takes a certain dedication to that. Just like all these other things, right? It takes a dedication, right? So that's why I like this chapter. Go ahead.
How can he get wisdom
Uh-huh.
that holdeth the plow?
So it's making it simple. Like, how are you going to get wisdom if you're always working? How? You're always working, and then what happened? Why you think brothers that just got jobs, like, they not here? I barely see them in class anymore. Why? Because work, right? Then what happens at work? Well, I'm sick now, so I can't be, right? Then I can't be there. So now a whole month go by before you were dedicating, 40 days, 30 days out of it, but now it's what? Half that, 15 days. Right, you're drained, you're tired, right? So it takes a strong dedication to be able to, right? Something has to give, right? Something has to give. It's either going to be like, look, I'm dedicated to the priesthood, or this job got me and I can't make it because I'm tired. It's going to be real, right? Your fruit is going to be seen. Right? That's not a shot. This is just the reality of the scriptures, right? Go ahead.
And that glorified, and that glorious in the gold.
See, the difference here is that glory in the gold. Now, what does this got to do with the question? Well, it's the same thing. If I'm in the booth, right? And my mind is on, yo. You know what I mean? In poetry and rhyming, right? I already know, like we talked about it yesterday. Y'all know as well as we do. Like, if it's music, if your mind is not constantly on music, what are you singing? You're singing music. You're not singing, you're not reciting Psalms 121. You're not that, damn, let me go back here and go, oh, damn, that chapter, oh, wow. the brother said this and that, right? It didn't, right? It's the same thing with everything. So it's telling you here that, read that last part, I like that.
And that glory in the gold.
That glory from the gold. And y'all, hopefully you understand, we dealt with agriculture, we dealt with, no, what's the other word? Dealing with the animals? Livestock, right? And the gold is to do what? To guide the animals, right? The staff you would guide the animals with, right?
Kind.
So a cat that's dedicated to that, he's thinking about, you know, how am I going to get better stock out of these cattle, right? How they produce. And that's like, think about it. You're at your work, you're like, okay, damn, I'm doing good. And then they tell you what, man, you're doing so good, Aaron. Man, we want you to run over here. And you're like, yeah, I want to run over there too. I need that money, right? But then that money comes with time. That money might come with, you're on call, right? Extra hours.
I ain't taking that.
Right, but you're not taking it, but how many people, like, that's why it says no man can serve two masters. You see, this is the dilemma that everybody will have to make a choice in how much you dedicate. Now, remember, we're just talking about work. Now you got a rib, right? Now you want to pump out a kid every year, which is your God-given right? Like I say, hey, you need one more, brother needs two more, like pump them out. You know what I mean? Knock it out. But know that if a wise man perceiveth the evil, if everything you're doing in this life is about this life, then what are you doing for the gospel, for the work, for the ministry? So it's just automatically going to happen. Like I said, I didn't ask this question. This is not a shot. This is just the reality of what we're going over. You know what I mean? And it's the reality what we talk about a lot. We see it a lot. Like, you're just not going to be as dedicated because your mind is into something else. So that's what it's telling us here. Go ahead.
That driveth oxen and is occupied in their labor.
See, and then it's occupied in the booth. It's occupied in the rhymes. Oh, when your schedule overlaps with your studies in the Word, something's going to have to be put aside. And usually, knowing man, it's what? Bro, I need to feed this belly. I need to get these new shoes. I need to get this. My kids need this. You know, I didn't have discretion in this, so now that needs to be covered. It's like that. That's what's going to happen. So that's why the Most High is telling us ahead of time to consider these things, because how are you gonna those that have wives be as though they have none?
Right.
Which one is it? Right?
Kind.
So go ahead.
And whose talk is of bullocks.
And whose talk? Remember we were talking about it yesterday? If you're constantly watching football or listening to R&B or looking at movies, what is your talk? What are you talking about? You talking about those things. When you get around brothers, you're like, man, yeah, but y'all see this? You see this movie, but you see this? You see that on YouTube? You know, because the brother will talk about, if you look at his feed, open his feed, right? Remember I told y'all, like, we have a lot of news, open my YouTube feed. It's that news, right? Street speaking, you know, that's what it is. And then just random stuff that here and there. But majority of those things, see, we're going to know that because the brother's going to come around or the sister's going to come around and she's going to talk about that. So, you know, you got to keep in mind yes, it is a gift. It is a talent, but is it a talent for the Lord? That's what we got to realize.
Kind.
Well, I want to be a rapper for the Most High. Cool. We need rappers, right?
Kind.
We need brothers that for the Most High. Just know this, what you're going to give up if you're that, right? You're going to be a rapper. Like you see a lot of these cats coming from the world that are like, man, I want to rap. Well, you're bringing what you were from the world to the truth. And how can I say this nicely? Because I don't want to like cause commotion.
Say it.
Just say it.
Say it.
Literally, you were that in the world. So when you come to the truth and you hear, I gotta be the new man, a lot of things you don't want to let go. That's why you got people teaching I can smoke weed. That's why you got a lot of these young cats. They won't put on the robes. They want to dress like niggas because they don't want to let go the niggadom alone. So they want to what? Engraft the two. Oh, you know, I'm doing it for the truth. I'm getting to the young generation. Well, the Bible says, remember the days of old. Like, so what are you talking about? Like, we can't get the new generation off of the new vibe. We got to go bring them to the old vibe. That's what this is all about. But it be a lot of these young cats that what? I don't want to let that go. I can't fuck with y'all, can't. Because these niggas over here, they're going to let me what? They're going to let me act young. They're going to let me, they're going to let me do this, do that. And then I can go on street speaking and what? So-called teach. So, y'all cats is too old. I'm going with the new wave. And that's what's going on now because people don't want to really understand what you are called for. So I ask you, what are you called for? Biblically. Like, don't ask me. He said you're called to be what?
Kings and priests.
What?
Kings and priests.
We want the king part. We want Esau to lick our toes. But we don't want to fall into the priesthood and the dedication of the priesthood. You see that? And back to the question, so it's not wrong to have these things and bring them to the table. It's not wrong. Go ahead.
He giveth his mind to make pharaohs.
But look at what the gospel's saying. He giveth his mind to the pharaohs, to the animals, to the agriculture. You know, remember, you know, the Bible uses always agriculture stuff because that's what we were into. But let's apply that today. Same idea, right? Like if I got 30 kids under my belt, I got to take care of my kids, right? But what about if I told you ahead of time, AI, that's going to be a distraction from what you're doing. Be mindful. And you're like, yeah, but kids are a blessing. And you just start pumping kids out, and then it pulls you away. Well, you chose your what?
Your path.
You chose your path, right? Which is not wrong to have kids, right? But you should have knew what was going to be a distraction to you, right? Just like if you take the overtime, like you said, nah, I'm not messing with that. But how many times they try to pull you into that? Like Aharon, man, Aaron, you the ninja.
Yesterday.
Right? There you go. Yesterday, and I didn't even know that. Aaron, you the ninja, man. We need you because they're looking at your zeal, your wisdom, your leadership, all the stuff the Spirit gave you, and they're like, bro, I want that because he's not a ninja. He's intelligent. He's smart. He has foresight. They want all the things the Spirit is blessing you with. And they what? They will occupy your time and make you subject to down payments. Because that's the point of it, right? So our mind will be into what we give ourselves to. This is not rocket science. What we give ourselves to, that's what your mind will be about, right? Go ahead.
And is diligent to give the kind fodder.
See, and is diligent to what?
Give the kind fodder.
Right. Get diligent to what they're dealing with. Well, what about diligent in studying? Well, which one is it? How could you gonna be a studying, a teacher, a priest? Something is gonna be part-time, right? We work part-time, we're priests full-time, right? All that other stuff is, you know, you gotta put it that way. If not, you're gonna lose yourself to one or the other, right? Go ahead.
So every carpenter.
Right? Every what?
Every carpenter.
So a carpenter is a gift, a talent. Yahweh Shai was a carpenter. What did he do? Yahweh Shai was the carpenter, right? That guy.
Build tables and chairs.
What book, chapter, and verse says that Yahweh Shah was so tired from work
Right.
that he didn't heal the people? Like we were just talking about this the other day. We know what Paul's occupation was. Paul was a tent maker, right? So was Aquila and Priscilla, right? So they said the same trade. But where do we see the scriptures that them putting that first? They were about what? Just like Yahweh Shah said, I'm about my Father's business. And America is about, no, you were about.
No, let's go there. That's what I was looking for. Let's go there real quick. It's let's go there real quick, because we tend to quote a lot instead of going to it. Let's go there real quick. Go to Luke 2:49. Go ahead.
Luke chapter 2 and verse 49.
Go ahead.
And he said unto them, how is it that ye sought me?
Right.
Wist ye not that I must be about my Father's business?
Right. I be about my Father's business. And how did that come about? Go to Acts. How did that come about? I mean, Acts. Sorry. Go to Matthew 10. Go to Matthew, it's actually 4, and start at verse, start at 18.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 18.
Go ahead.
And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee,
Uh-huh.
saw two brethren, Simon called Peter,
Right.
and Andrew his brother,
Right.
casting a net into the sea.
So what was their job?
Fishermen.
Well, why you don't hear them talking about the fish? You don't hear them talking about, like, the gospel ain't full of, you know what I mean? Side note. Side note, these fish we caught. Because they was probably still catching fish. Right? But look at those moments they was catching them. It was to eat. Right? And when they needed money, Yahweh Shai had to tell them, okay, look, let me show you how to do it. Throw it on this side. Cast it on this side, right? Why? Because the Most High was dealing with these men on another level. Their job was another level. Literally, this question is a good question because when you go back to the Levitical priesthood, for all my brothers and sisters in the Torah that are really good with it, go back to the law, Exodus, Numbers, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. There was a high standard and a calling of the Levites, right? And these offices that the Levites took, that was their business. That was their job, right? And now that was intended to, first of all, before the Levites, who was it given to? Let me see if he's got some scholars here. Before the Levites were called to be the priests, who was it supposed to be given to? What?
Was it Reuben?
Nope. What? Close, but it's too vague. What?
I was going to say Judah.
Judah? Nope. Remember, it was, if anything, if you wanted to go by seniority, it was supposed to be Reuben. Reuben messed up, and then I'm talking about the priesthood. What?
Abraham.
Nope. Aaron. Who was it?
I'm thinking. All the
Mawala? Y'all are like close when you say that, but not there. Come on, Mr. Study Guy. You're supposed to know this one. Huh? It was the firstborn. Remember the firstborn was supposed to be given? The firstborn. Go look it up.
It was Reuben, right?
No, the firstborn of the men of Israel. And then he said, no, I want...
The one that, what is it, Enter the Matrix?
Yeah, remember?
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the firstborn child, men. Then he said, you know what? No, let's do is going to be the tribe of Levi. You see that? So all it did was make a circle. You're a nation of kings and priests. We're back to that, right? It's all of us. What were we called for? The priesthood. Right? Now we know we got jobs. Remember, this is a question. This the disclaimer. Everybody needs a job, right? We need to pay rent. We need to pay our bills. But a job is not your calling. A job is not your true talent. Right? We do got talents in the world. I picked up some talents along the way, man, that I never thought I knew I would do. Right? And everybody in here got something you've done in the world, you know, and you can bring to the table. Hey, we need somebody, the brother Jarrell's going to school for cars, right? Aaron, he's the handy, I mean, how many handy guys you got in here? He's a technical handy guy, you know what I mean, in a few different areas. Not just equipment, but you know how, I mean, put the air conditioning in. That's not your thing, right? No, yeah, the guy, but those are gifts, those are talents. But is that his calling? You see that? Your calling and talents, right? So when you go back to the talents in the scriptures, that was part of their calling. And that's why he was upset with them. Going back to your question earlier, right? Yeah, because they weren't using what they had as far as for the truth, for the word. He wasn't upset at them because they was like, they didn't use, you know, their certificate to, you know, change every brother's oil in the house, in the school, and then you're like, you guys didn't use your talents properly. Everybody's oil wasn't changed. He didn't throw them in hell because of that.
Right.
He threw them in hell because they weren't doing his will. And the tools that the Most High has given us to do his will, some of us is going to be better at that than others. Right? Prophets, teachers, counselors, right? All these things, ministers. See, when you go through that list of the gifts or talents, right? Those things, man, were specific to the ministry and the leading the people, the nation of Israel. Right? Remember, why a lot of times it's because we're coming from the world, we're thinking, well, I know how to do this good. That's good. You're going to bring that to the knowledge. But that cannot supersede your calling. Right? And where are we at? Read that again in Matthews.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 18. Last precept. Casting a net into the sea.
Right.
For they were fishermen. And he said unto them,
right,
follow me, and I will make you fishers of men.
I always say this because I want to bring the logic thinking into the subject. Why he just didn't say, hey, meet me on the Shabbat? I'm going to bring it up to 225 logic and ideas. Hey, meet me on the Shabbat on Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. That's when we do the will of the Father. Why did he do that? Why didn't he say, hey, everybody's not called to be the priest? Because that'd be a lie. I've heard that. Well, everybody's not called for the same office. No, they're not. But they're called to be nation of kings and priests. What's your priority? And in that priority, you have certain offices in that. You see? So, yeah, like brothers rapping, that's needed. I was thinking about that a while back. I was like, damn. It's needed, that tool. But is that that's it? You know what I mean? Is that all? You're like, well, my talent is, and what I bring to the truth is rapping. Nah, bruh. No. You're going to be like David. You're going to be a king and a poet. But a king first. Right? Solomon, a king. He was a king, but he wasn't just known for, man. You see how Solomon dropped those songs out? He dropped those bars, right? No, he was known for living and leading the people. Right. Right, and as we go in. So as you see that, I'm pulling you out of your estate you're in, the way the Gentiles have taught you how to live, and what you think life is about, meat and drink, and let me pull you to your calling. what you've been called for. Were they still fishing? You know they were. But was that their occupation? No, hell no. It was vice versa. It was like, yeah, we're still fishing. We still gotta get food and get money here and there, right? But they were doing other things, and their calling they did first. And we know that by Yahushua, because it says what? What's the other scripture? Anybody knows?
Repeat that.
What does it say about Yahushua and his office, and what, you know how he was a carpenter and what he did with his talent in the world? No, find it. Let's find it. I want y'all to get it because we quoted a lot. I know we know it, but I want y'all to get it for the new people. So finish that while we get that real quick.
Come. Matthew chapter 4, verse 23. Oh wait, no, 22. And they immediately left the ship and their father and followed him.
Right, you see that? So you see how it was immediate? A lot of times, and I'm not saying this to the person that asked the question. Remember, I'm answering the question and generalizing it because I don't even know who asked it, truthfully. The thing is that a lot of times you don't realize that you're supposed to switch over now, right? You're supposed to change to what you've been called for, right? What you got?
Come on, 2 Corinthians 8 and 9.
What it say?
He became poor for our sake.
There you go. Let's pull it. Where you at?
2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 9.
Hold that though. Hold the, you're done with Matthews, we get that. The apostles were fishers. And then we could go to all of them though, right? The tax collector, who was that? Matthew, right? The tax collector, right? All these men that had different jobs. I mean, look, Paul was a what? Paul was a tent maker, and he was a what? Pharisee of Pharisees, right? He banging on Israel. And he had to give all that up and switch over, right? To get banged on, right? Where are you at?
2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
For ye know the grace of our Lord, Yahushua,
Right.
that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor.
Why? Because he didn't be like, man, listen, I'm good with my hands. You know, I got all this in my mind, man, and I gotta let it out through my art. You know what I mean? I like it too. I start looking at everything different now. Like when I look at movies, I look at the architect, I look at the imagery, I look at the art. You know what I mean? Because I'm into all of that. You know, doing the engravings and stuff like that. I'm like, man, that's nice. How they did that. Oh, I can see how they put that together. But my first thought has to be in the spirit, or these other things will occupy my mind more than the spirit of the Most High. Y'all see that? So look at what Yahushua did. What would Jesus do? What did he do? Read.
He was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor.
He became poor. Y'all see that? That's the road, the mind state. You see? But you're like, well, I'm not gonna feed my kids, Art. Don't panic, brother. Don't start losing the sisters. Well, what am I supposed to do? Just be after school all the time? Don't lose it, because right now you got to first learn what it is to teach. See, but it takes you giving yourself to learn. It takes you giving yourself to learn. You see, because you can never be a priest if you don't learn what it is. See, but even that takes dedication. How much time are you going to give to that? And that's what we're reading in Ecclesiastes 39. Right? Did you finish that 2 Corinthians? That was 2 Corinthians what?
8 and 9.
8 and 9, right? What you got?
I got Luke 22 and 35.
Oh, go ahead.
Luke chapter 22, verse 35. And he said unto them, when I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, yet lack ye anything? And they said nothing.
Right. So what is he saying? Look at the predicament we were put in. It wasn't always how we think nowadays. So what? Well, I ain't got no money. How am I supposed to do this? Right? Well, their faith was challenged all the time. And a lot of time, it's like, it ain't us just living off, living on the streets. But it's little moments like, if you've been called to the service, well, think about it. How many of y'all went to school? Raise your hand. No, not regular school, like college. Okay, you went to college. And what did it take you to go to college? A lot of mental exertion, right? And dedication. Bruh, we already see Delvon. He'd be like, we use him as an example. He's like, I got a paper, but I'm going to be sitting back in class. That is, like, I have never seen that. Cats probably use that all the time as an example. Oh, I can't do it. I can't make it. Come on. He's like, nope, I'm going to get this word, and I'm going to be there with y'all, and I'm going to do what I got to do. You see that? A lot of cats ain't like that. They put those worldly things first, but when those papers got to come in, what? They get draining. You get tired. You on Adderall? Nah, hopefully not. You up all night trying to get a paper done? But it's only when it comes to Israel, you're being abused. And you know what? You guys just want too much. And what I'm supposed to do, just give up everything? But for the white man, it just seems like it's not the same. I don't know. I wonder what is it? For the white man, it's like, I gotta be there. What you want me to do? Treat the truth the same way you do that? Have the same attitude for the knowledge when you do, like you do in the world? Right? How many times we gotta say it? Come on, we all been to clubs. Who went to the club and had to go to work? God. Right? She tells me about her stints in Germany, her salsa lessons in Germany. You in another damn country, what? You got to go right to what? What was it?
I was in the club at 6 in the morning, at 5 in the morning, and go to the barracks change in transformation.
Yeah. Leave the club at 5 in the morning, go to the barracks and change, and go right to damn. And what? Not a problem. The good thing is that she don't got that attitude. She got the same attitude transferred to righteousness. Never hear her complain about, I'm not getting no rest. I mean, she don't sleep as it is. Her and Ariel are like vampires. They don't sleep, bruh. They can function out 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, how do you do this? And don't complain. But, going back, think about how much dedication we put into those things. You see, so just a reminder, this subject's on the question of how much you're giving up for the world. It got to be that much more for the truth. Right? You can't be diligent and zealous for your job from master mister, and then it comes to the truth. It's like, nah. So I'm not, like I said, there's a lot of brothers in here that already show forth, Delvon, Aaron, you've been consistent, diligently, tired, and, giving yourself, And I'm just talking about brothers about that, but those thick schedules. Now, you got one of those schedules. I see you. You know what I mean? The brothers that are slacking, you'll start seeing. They what? Work overcome them, and they what? Communication to stop, right? You'll start seeing it. Like, that's the way it is when you give your heart to those things. So remember what you're giving your mind over to, right? And that's what is going in Ecclesiastes 39. What you got? You got one more?
This is Ecclesiastes, I was holding it.
39, right. One more real quick.
Just on the house shot. Like you were saying about how he gave up. What up?
Yeah.
Hebrews 11 and 25. Hebrews 11 and 25. Oh, that's a lot. This is Moses. Yeah.
Yeah. Hebrews 11, 25. And that was Luke 22 and 8, right?
And Luke 22 and 35.
Oh, Luke 22 and 35. All right. Go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 25. Choosing rather to suffer affliction.
Right, but read 24.
Verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
You see that? So he didn't. I'm going to say it again. Let's just look at the gospel. Don't get mad at me. You know, because I know a lot of brothers that love rapping. And I know the sister, it might not be the sister that asked the question is like this, but there'll be a lot of cats that be like, well, that's what I'm bringing to the table. I'm a rapper. It's in my blood, in my veins. And it's like, bro, but you were called to be a priest, not a rapper. Your poetry's good, but let's reach the people. Like, think about it. What are we supposed to be doing for the people? You're supposed to be learning to know how to be a priest and bring people back to the law, statutes, commandments. And that takes the same tutelage, studying, dedication, and commitment to be that priest. Right? Yeah.
I remember when Shaquat was here, and I was going to Aviation Institute of Maintenance, airplanes, learn how to fix airplanes, construct the different components on the airplane and all that stuff. Looking at the different jobs, the employers that was coming to the school for like open house to show us what job is available and where, they all had those shifts that they gave to the lower person, which is graveyard, right? 12-hour shifts, and your starting pay is good, right? But you get the graveyard 12-hour shift, right? And you don't have no time. Like all your days is taken up. So, all your nights is taken up. So you sleep during the day, work at night, right? And so I looked at that, and none of them had any difference of shifts that are available for someone coming out of school.
Right.
They all had the same thing, and it wasn't like there was a light at the end of the tunnel. You didn't know when you could get a different shift.
Right.
So I weighed my options, right? I was like, I can continue at this, right? And I'm like, I'm not trying to live a luxurious life. I just want to be able to say, I pay my bills, and I have some left over to be a blessing to whoever I wanted to.
Right.
And that's all I wanted to do. But I looked at what I was faced with, and I looked at my mind, and I know how I can construct my day and where I wanted to go and stay on track with that.
There you go.
And I know how easy it was for me to get off track. And I knew how the word was helping me do that.
That's dope.
I said, if I continue going to school, right, I'm going to lose this, right? I said I'm going to lose this. If I continue going to school, I'm going to lose this. Because at the time, I had timed out, right? So you have 24 hours that you could miss. You can miss 30 minutes here, an hour there, but you have 24 hours. You miss 24 hours, you time out. So I had time out because of my job. Right? I was working at Sears, I wasn't getting off on time, so I was always late to class. Well, putting all that together to say, I saw where I wasn't going to have enough time to dedicate, to the work of the Lord. Or to even getting the classes to say, okay, I never thought of those scriptures, to put them together like that, to say, oh, wow, I never thought of that.
And that's right there, everybody's decision they're gonna have to make.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But going back, let us jump back now. Finish that in Hebrew. Did we finish that? Okay, read that. Finish that real quick.
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 25. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High.
And that's a lot of times not taking those little amenities. But I think the gist of what you're saying is all worked out anyway.
Yeah, it all worked out.
Because we know each other, and we know the end of the story that you didn't have to go that right. The Most High made a way for you. And still it made you productive, right? And so you got two things going. You put the Most High first. But a lot of times, because brothers don't do it right, they what? They make it harder on themselves, right? The funny thing is, y'all want to hear the crazy story? Real long like Al Ron did? No. I was watching my kids, the little Bible cartoons, and it was going over Samuel. When Samuel rejected Saul, and you know, they condensed the story. But it showed you it in there, like Saul, his decision making is what constantly made another problem persist. And a lot of brothers don't see that. A lot of sisters don't see that. That if you just waited for Samuel to hear the word of the Lord and come back and show you how to do it, then it would have been easier. But he made one bad decision after the next because he was so hard up and faithless. You see, and you start seeing that. So let me say this on another note, because I think we're digging deeper into this point than intended to be. But this is why you can't let no man take your zeal. You be around brothers, they'll be lazy, they'll be undedicated, just like in the world. Just like when you go to any school, right? They'll be in the school, there'll be the jokesters, the comedians, but those are the dummies. Those are gonna fail. The so-called cool kids, they're the ones getting bad grades. You gotta keep your mind on the prize, because we're gonna have a lot of brothers around that you're gonna love. But that's why it's important to covet the best gifts, because brothers have weaknesses, and then you let that weakness go on you, and then next you know, your zeal, passion, fire gets diminished. You're gonna see that a lot. Nah, you gotta keep that fire burning. That way you can look back and too have gray hairs, be old, and be able to say, nah, I fully dedicated my life, my spirit, I've given it all. And guess what? I'm not begging for bread. I'm not in the streets. It didn't happen like I thought, you know, like the world tells us, right? But let's jump back. Let's finish it up. So Moses choosing rather the riches of Egypt, instead of choosing that, he said, nah, I want to be with my people.
Right.
First of all, where was his people?
Goshen.
Getting whipped. In bondage and slavery. They were in rigor. So wait a minute. You want to choose to be with them? Wait, look at all this silky clothes you got on. Look at all this. Look at all the Gucci and Louis you got on. Right? So it takes you having to really prioritize. Right? Mind you, I'm saying this when we already have brothers doing this. Brothers that work, have jobs, are going to school, and doing this, but yet they know how to prioritize. So don't get it twisted.
That's what I was getting.
It's prioritizing.
That's what I was getting.
Right. All right, let's jump back to the Ecclesiastes 38.
Ecclesiastes chapter 38, verse 27.
Go ahead.
So every carpenter and workmaster
Right.
that laboreth night and day,
Right.
and they that cut the grave seals,
Right.
and are diligent to make great variety.
Right. See, they're diligent in that business. See a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings. Right? Go ahead.
And give themselves to counterfeit imagery.
Right. The counterfeit imagery is what we're going to go into when you go into the Old Testament. They were doing what? The engraven images, the artwork, right? The metalwork, the swords, right? The weaponry. They had to deal with metals, wood, and all these things, right? So you got a lot of men, women that have those gifts. That's what you're seeing. But what you see, the wisdom of the Most High reigns because he's telling us here, yeah, they got these things, but if you're solely mentally pouring your soul into this, what are you going to be about? You know what I mean? I'm saying if you're solely mentally into nothing but school, and you don't know how to pull your mind out of that or organize your time and put the Most High first, what will happen? It'll be sleep, school, wake up, school. You know what I mean? Work, school. Right? And the Most High will get what? He get that prayer on the way to work. You know what I mean? He probably get that prayer at night while you falling asleep in the shower, right? But you won't get that full dedication, right? Go ahead.
And watch to finish a work.
Right, and do what?
And watch to finish a work.
Go ahead.
The smith also sitting by the anvil.
Right, and I like this, and the reason why we started from the top is because to show you all these different offices are things that are needed in society. They're needed in the body, right? These things are needed. Go ahead.
And considering the ironwork,
Uh-huh.
the vapor of the fire wasted his flesh.
Yeah, like Shirai just said, she had a hole in her clothing. She's like, I need a new pair. I need some new clothes because it got a hole in it. And when you're doing the welding, it sparks and hits your skin. That vapor will mess you up. They tell you about the welding that like it just gets in your face. If you ain't covering right, it can get you old quick. Yeah. So she's like, I need to cover up, right? But that's part of dedication. That's why I love this, because it tells you about how much would you really dedicate to these things. You know, and think about, y'all remember 8 Mile?
John Coffee.
Not that 8 Mile. Rabbit. That 8 Mile.
Eminem.
Right, Eminem, right? And what was he doing when he was rhyming? When he was not rhyming?
He was always rhyming.
He was always what? That poetry in his head. Right? So you see how whatever gift you have, it can consume you more if you let it, more than the work of the Spirit of the Most High. And that's why you have to make sure your mind is in the right place, because the Most High got to be what you wake up to. Right? You know, you got to constantly, I got to wake up to the Father, not to, you know what, I dream about this bar. Oh, damn, 1 fish, 2 fish. I'm messing with you. I'm a bad rapper. Go ahead.
And he fighteth with the heat of the furnace.
Right, and you go and you dedicate. You'll get burnt the hell up. Yeah. You know, your body, you get wore out, you get tired, right? Think about what you're going to do. You're going to be a nurse, right? Come on, look, come on. You know that schedule. You know what it's going to entail. That's dedication, right? And it's not wrong for these things. It's not wrong for you to have a job. It's not wrong. Go ahead.
The noise of the hammer and the anvil
Go ahead.
is ever in his ears.
Go ahead.
And his eyes look still upon the pattern of the thing that he maketh.
Okay, so we get the gist of what he's saying, right? Jump down to verse 31.
Ecclesiastes chapter 38 and verse 31. All these trust to their hands.
They do what?
All these trust to their hands.
Look at what the Spirit's bringing out. All these things trust to their hands, right? You meaning what? To your work. Go ahead.
And everyone is wise in his work.
Right, and everybody, bruh. You know, you talk to Aharon, bruh. He can look at the damn refrigerator. He can open it up. Be like, yeah, that's what you need. Right? He'd be like, yeah, you need this, I'm gonna order this part, I know where to get the part. You're like, bro, this guy got this down, right? The same thing when it comes to the laser machine. I'm like, I learned so much stuff, I can be like, nah, this is what you need to do, this is how you get the software, this is the speed, the power, right? This is what type of wood. Like, all these things, you learn these things and you dedicate yourself. But that's just a pastime. That's just, when you chill out, that's what you do. But my love, my passion, right, is the work, is the will of the Father, right? Go ahead.
Without these, cannot a city be inhabited.
See? And it's important, too. It's important. You need men, women. You need, what Trump say? He said we want waiters. He said we just want competent ones. We want smart ones. You know what I mean? He said that. He was like, we want all these people to come from other countries. He said we just want the best people. right? Meaning what? He wants people that's dedicated to their service, their duty, right? That's what the Most High wants. After reading all this, what do you think Yahweh wants?
That's the best.
A part-time lover. That's the problem. Israel's like, you know what? You know, priest thing, is it really that serious? Like war, right? Your soldiers, like, it's really not that serious. You know, class between the workout. You know, I can put that off. You can. Bruh, there ain't no argument. Me, Quatzazab, and Zion, we understand now. You're right. Put it off. You don't want it, bruh. The Most High, that's what's in your heart. But if you want it, you're going to do it. You're going to dedicate yourself. You see, and it's not up for me to what? Put a gun to your head, to pom-poms and cheerlead you, and call you up all the time, and hey, brother, you believe in Jesus today? No, you got to have a desire, will to yourself. You know what I mean? Every man shall seek out his own soul salvation, right? We're doing our part, because we do motivate you, push you, because iron sharpens iron, right? You're there but you can't put the love to surpass the love of what you're doing in the world, to surpass, for the love of the Most High to surpass that. You can't put that in nobody. You gotta see why it's necessary. Like I was talking to the sisters the other day, their first little meeting for the Passover garments. I said, what we want you to see that sitting here and doing garments is not about just a sweatshop for the Passover. It's about literally what you're gaining from the sisterhood, right? What the apostles gained, right? Of being together, being around each other, right? The labor, the unity. It's those things that we're supposed to be getting, not just, oh, you know what, I'm just sewing, because then that's what it'll be about, right? Sewing, right? But you won't really gain the valuable things in the spirit that you're supposed to be teaching each other and showing each other. So that's what the truth's about. That's what the gathering's about. That's what the unity's about. Go ahead.
And they shall not dwell where they will,
right?
Nor go up and down,
right?
They shall not be sought for in public counsel.
Yeah, so it's not wrong to be a rapper, to know how to change, fix cars, or to have certain tools that you've been given in the world. But know this, there will be a battle for your dedicated mind state. That's what he's telling us here. That if you're dedicated to one thing and giving your mind always to that thing, if it ain't the Most High, then what are you really dedicating yourself to? Carnal things. Right? Just think about that. So that's why he said, but these individuals that don't dedicate themselves to the spirit and wisdom, it says they what?
They shall not be sought for in public counsel.
Yeah, like think about it. We're not calling brothers that don't know how to use counsel in their house, that don't know how to use counsel, that don't know how to teach their rib, that don't know how to teach their kids, just on the basis of dedication. I can't call you and talk about dedication when you're not dedicated. As simple as that. Once again, it's not being mean, it's just the fact of it. Like, Aharon can't call me and ask me about a refrigerator and what bulb and what that, because I don't know about that. So the same with you. It's like, we can't call you and expect you to be a counselor when your mind is not dedicated to being a counselor and a teacher.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It goes back to like yesterday's class. Like, what's going to pour out of you? So you got this talent, right? You got this soprano, you got this orchestra voice, right? But what are you going to sing about?
A minor.
A minor, right? But we went over it last night. Psalms 1 and 2, real quick. Psalms chapter 1, verse 2. It's going to get to a point where we at.
Psalms chapter 1 and verse 2. But his delight is in the law of the Most High.
Is in what?
In the law of the Most High.
How are you going to sing about the Most High if you don't delight? If your delight is just about hearing your voice, right? Or just, well, I'm good at singing. Yeah, if you're good at singing and you want to sing to the Most High, how do you know what to sing about? Unless you got a ghostwriter. Now you got the ghostwriter writing your bars, writing your songs for you because you haven't delighted yourself in his law. Like, I can tell you, you look at the brothers that are locked into, their trade, their craft, right? Are they the ones that you come to get help with how to deal with your household, how to correct your son? And those are knowledges that we need, so we go to them for that. But when it comes to what the Most High called us to be, you gotta go to those that are dedicated.
Yeah.
So in order to, so you got this talent of singing, dedicate yourself to the Father first so that you know that you're going to use this with the wisdom. You're going to sing about what? Psalms and wisdom of Solomon and Ecclesiastes, but how you're going to spit those bars if you never learned them. All right, go ahead.
And in his law doth he meditate day and night.
In his law do we meditate day and night. But you're in the studio. You're in the studio. You got your, what are they doing now? They don't have writer's books. They used to write down the notes. They put it in your phone. So your whole phone is filled with rhymes and rhymes and rhymes and lyrics and lyrics and lyrics. But how many of those came from the scriptures though? I mean, it sounds biblical. It's like gospel music. Gospel music sounds like they know the truth, or does it? How many people are deceived by that?
Quantazan put me on to some cat. Some brother out there, he said he listened to, his name is Corey. I don't know.
Christian rapper?
No, he's an Israelite rapper. This cat, every bar is a scripture.
Corey Gordon?
I think so. Every bar is a scripture. And I'm like, okay. But remember, what is your first job? What is your second job? You see that? Like, good, I can rap about the word, right? And you can teach people through that, right? People are going to get that. People are going to appeal to that. But that's what you're going to be, a rapper. You're going to be a rapper that raps with the word, right? So when you're asking me, was it wrong? No, just know that what you're not going to be is the one sought for counsel. Because you're not in that office of a priest, right? You're just, you can spit bars and you can spit them to teach people, right? And when they hear the music, they're like, yeah, I hear that. Right? But that's knowledge. We need somebody to teach us how to apply the knowledge now. Right? So you get counsel to know how to apply the knowledge. You get priests to show you how to have proper judgment and walk in the knowledge of the Most High. You see that? So that's why there's a difference between a brother that passes a flyer and a brother that can actually sit with the individual and actually talk to them. Right? There's a difference between a brother that can't talk to people very well and articulate themselves because they didn't give themselves to learning. You see that? And opposed as a teacher, he can teach and he can actually articulate and speak to the individuals that he's dealing with. So it's difference in those arenas. Right? And that's what we got to realize. But you were at something.
Go ahead. Yeah, just on that, because I'm thinking about this question, and we left on something from yesterday. Just like, what are your thoughts on? If your thoughts are, well, I got a show to do. Then I got a studio session I got to be on. But I'm singing about Jesus. Like, well, are you really singing about Jesus? Go to one more Proverbs 21:5. We didn't go there last night. Proverbs 21:5. Read that.
Proverbs 21 and verse 5. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness.
Right, but what do you consider plenteousness? What do you consider abundance? If it's not the word, well, if it is the word, you're going to be occupied in the meditation thereof. Just like last class. Then you're going to be out of your belly flows rivers of living water, like yesterday's class. But if you're not, and you just say, well, I sound good, I have a great voice, what are you going to sing about? It won't have no substance. It won't have no context. Because we know, yes, the scriptures talk about that we have Levitical singers, We've been going over that in Psalms, right? The sons of Korah were the singers. But what were they singing about? What would you sing about? Think about it. Right now, what would you sing about? How would you use that gift to teach people about the Most High?
God.
Right? Would they be able to say, you know what? Let me go look that scripture up. Because there is some, like the brothers like to play some Israelite music, which is weird, but I always thought, why don't some brothers don't like Israelite music, especially if it's dropping scriptures. But there's some songs I'll be like, where's that at? And you go in there like, oh, swag. That is a scripture. Mm-hmm. That's pretty dope that you made that rhyme and it's actually literally in the Bible. Mm-hmm. But are you in the book that deep to be able to do that? It would have to be that first. It would have to be that you're occupied in the wisdom first. And it can't be because I want to sound good. Because you're doing it for necessity. You're in the book to further your career. Right? The Most High wants us to be kings and priests, so then occupy yourself and learn how to properly judge. Then you could probably use that singing talent, that rapping talent as a ministry. But it can't be like you skip this. See, a lot of times, read the scripture.
God, the thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness.
Read.
But of every one that is hasty, only to want.
Only to what? Only to want you want to do. You want to skip a step. I don't want to be study to show thyself approved. I don't want to be addicted to the ministry. I want to do this Jesus thing at my comfortability. So let me skip the step of having to be taught so I can be what I think I'm good at. See, that's what a lot of us mess up and do. You want to fast track your way, right? You want to nominate yourself as, well, this is my office. What if your office ain't singing? Yes, you have a great voice. What if that's not your gift? But see, you was hasty, right? And you jump because you want to do what's comfortable to you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's on point. That is on point. I had a few things, scriptures running through my head, but go ahead and read on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 38, verse 32. Verse 33.
Right.
They shall not be sought for in public counsel.
Right.
Nor sit high in the congregation.
Yeah. What did you go to the one I asked you? Where you at?
Exodus 31 and start verse 1. Yeah, start verse 1.
31 and 1. Exodus.
God.
Okay.
Yeah, read that.
Exodus 31 verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, See, I have called by name Bezaleel, the son.
Yeah, Bezaleel. Go ahead. I'm laughing because, I went down this road of Bezaleel, right? I started to learn with the engravings and all this stuff. And the leather and the armbands we're doing, right? I learned that, but I also learned, though, this can occupy your mind. If you don't got the right mind state, and you don't have an importance that supersedes these carnal things, right? I be waking up like, man, this would be a dope image. You know how you create this? What did I ask up to like 4 a.m. creating images? You know what I mean? But see, that can't supersede 4 a.m. studying, reading, thinking of class. See, because this is my first job. That's my second. Right? Go ahead.
The son of Uriah.
Right.
The son of Hur. Of the tribe of Judah.
Right.
And I have filled him with the Spirit of the Most High.
So to answer your question, the Spirit of the Most High is still with you. Right? Go ahead.
In wisdom.
Right.
And in understanding.
And wisdom and understanding. Go ahead.
And in knowledge.
Right.
And in all manner of workmanship.
Right.
To devise cunning works. To work in gold and in silver.
See, now, let's put this in perspective. Let's ask ourselves some questions so perspective can become clear. What was he doing this for? Right? The spirit of wisdom shows us how what we're doing is for the body. It wasn't just like the world taught us, I'm going to get rich and die trying. Right? It wasn't. Think about when you read down in here, what was he building for? So these things are needed. You know what I mean? These things are needed. It was for the tabernacle. It was for the body. Right? See, but it wasn't for, I'm worried about myself. You know, this is the gift the Lord gave me, so I'm using it for your belly. Right?
I gotta chase my dreams.
Right, I gotta chase my dreams. And y'all, see, y'all pulling me away from this. Right? But look at Bezalel and look at what the Most High blessed him with. He blessed him with the wisdom and the gift to do what he was going to do for the body. Y'all see that? Even in that, right? What's the difference between these individuals? Well, like the individuals that we read out in Ecclesiastes 39. Well, these individuals only focus on the things they're doing in their life, and they never stepped into the office of what? Being called to be a leader for the people. Like, think about it. When Moses called, he said in Deuteronomy 1, go get officers, 110,000, right? He said judges. Bezalel wasn't there. Why? Because that wasn't Bezalel's office. You see what I'm saying? But he was still giving to the body. He was still doing for the body. So it's, what do you want to give to the Most High? What do you want to be? What do we need to be now? Even in this generation. Listen, I'm throwing all these things just to remind you, this is why you got to know what you're dealing with. Like, what do you want to, what do we need now in this generation? We need brothers to step up. Think about how many priests, teachers, how many leaders are in the world, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, that are going to be leading our people. That are leading our people now. Look, brothers and sisters, it's only the Hebrew Israelites that got the truth, that can rightly divide with balance, wisdom, and understanding, and true judgment and integrity lead the people. Right? That's the only ones. It ain't the false leaders. It ain't the false pastors and preachers. It's the ones that have those qualities. And mind you, I list the qualities because we ourselves got to have the judgment, integrity, the dedication, and the love as well for our people to be the right example. Because all teachers don't have integrity and judgment. Right? So those things need to be included, right? So ask yourself, when Moses called the judges, the officers, the ones known, was he calling Bezalel? No, he wasn't. He wasn't calling him. Go ahead.
John. And in brass, and in cutting of stones, to set them,
right?
And the carving of timber,
right?
To work in all manner of workmanship.
Go ahead.
And I, behold, I have given with him Oholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, and in the hearts of all that are wise hearted I have put wisdom, that they may make all that I have commanded thee. The tabernacle of the congregation.
It said that I made what?
It says, they that are wise heeded, I have put wisdom.
It says, I have put wisdom that they may make all that I commanded thee. Did the Most High command you to spit these bars? No. Did the Most High command you to sing? Good. Think about it. Like I like that you brought out, because this is what they were doing. But when it was time to call for the leaders, they weren't called for that. But when it was time to do the work for the tabernacle, that was for the Most High, not for themselves, they were called for that, right? It's just like the doctors. When you go back to that, Ecclesiastes 38, right? Read Ecclesiastes 38 and verse 6.
God.
Read that.
Ecclesiastes 38 verse 6. And he hath given men skill.
Because the scripture says, honor the physician, right? The Most High put that physician in that place. Right, so yes, I'm gonna honor you when I'm sick, right? The Most High gave you knowledge of the apothecary, the herbs that can heal men and raise men, right? When you read that from the beginning of chapter 38, go ahead.
That he might be honored in his marvelous works.
But in whose works, though? It's all about giving the Most High honor.
Yeah.
It's all about, so, my question to the sister is, is this to glorify the Most High? Is this what he called you to be? Did he call you to be a songstress? Right? You're going to know, but how would you know? The elder sisters are going to say, you know what? You might want to sing at the, like we got that, the brothers, this is a little, at the Passover. You're going to have the two sisters playing their instruments. What did they not have musicians in the tabernacle?
God.
Right? We had that.
But that's not their profession.
That's not their profession.
Yeah,
right?
they're not living to what?
God, to play instruments.
To play the instrument.
Yeah.
Right? We gotta put things in perspective. They're not living for that, right? They're living to, especially in this generation, we need to bring back Israel. So what are we doing to bring it back? Well, I'm working my job. I gotta feed my kids. Everybody does that, bro. That's no difference of us living in this captivity. What are you adding to the pot of the nation, right? Yeah, that was it on that. Right, so we get that. I just wanted to go there to remind us that, okay, you are adding to the body, but what is needed? And if you really wanted to be an asset to the nation, what are you doing on that part, the spirit part? By all means, you give a prophet a cup of water. That in itself is a duty and a job, right? But does it stop there? Let's think about it. Did it stop with a damn cup of water?
Wow.
Like, I gave my cup of water. I did my work. I'm using my talent. All I'm trying to remind y'all is that don't hold yourself to one thing. Know that we're more than conquerors. Yes, you're gonna be a rapper, you're gonna be a singer, you can do those things, but remember, you're a chosen nation, a royal priesthood above all. So don't forget your true calling, right? Go back to Ecclesiastes 30 and finish that up.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 38 and verse 33. They shall not be sought for in public council,
Right,
nor sit high in the congregation.
right.
They shall not sit on the judge's seat,
Mm-hmm.
nor understand the sentence of judgment.
Ask yourself this question. Why was there only 12? Why was there 12 apostles? Because there was a high dedication and a job that they would do that the other cats weren't ready to do. Right? There was pupils, there was disciples, but why were the 12 disciples prevalent above all? Because there was a higher dedication. He even said it. How do we know? He said it's not, they didn't understand the parable. He said it's not given to them, it's given to you. I thought you're supposed to be teaching everybody. I did. They just didn't get it. And they're not going to get it because they're what? Dedication is not your dedication. Right? You're bowing your ear. You're trying to what? Gnaw at my damn feet. You know, Peter's, the James, the Matthews, right? All these brothers is trying to gnaw at Yahweh's feet. While they're what? Showing up for the fish. They're showing up for the wrong thing. Right? That's why we got the moments, the rich man. We got the moments, the sorcerer, right? We got these moments where these people showed up, but they didn't want to deny their old way. The sorcerer had to do what? He had to check his mind, because the way he was thinking, he had to relearn everything he was taught, because he wanted some of that spiritual power. And he was like, bruh, how could I buy this? He's like, bro, your brain is off. And I think it was, who was it that? Was Peter that went into him? Peter ripped into him like, bro, the Most High, he was like, Most High go get you, you're going to be cast. And he was like, please pray that nothing you said was right. You know, I don't want that. I don't want those things. So this man had to dedicate himself in another way. You see, he had to be what? When you ought to be teachers, you had to need someone teach you again. So he had to what? Go process and humble himself all over. See, this is not something like we made up. These are things that when you look in the gospel, that it always shows us these things, but we want to overlook them because it takes what? Dedication, commitment. Just like you going to school. It takes the same damn thing. Don't act like the truth is different. Same dedication, same love, same commitment. Go ahead.
They cannot declare justice and judgment.
See? Isn't that dang important? Well, when it comes to leadership, justice and judgment, right? Because they're not stepping in that slot, nor are they exercising that mind state to have proper judgment and judgment. See, first of all, let me show you something. A lot of us think we have proper judgment and judgment because you counsel with your rib. You counsel with a subordinate. So you think you're on point. Well, why you ain't counsel with somebody that got more knowledge than you? Because they're going to show you what? Oh, your thought process is wrong. So you're making the mistake to believe that you're on point with judgment because you counsel with people that have less wisdom than you.
We can't do that.
You can't do that. That's like me counseling with my mom and justified through my mom. My mom doesn't have as much as wisdom as any of you in here. Literally any of you on here. She's not on top of it like that. See? So this be the problem that the office that we've been called to as Hebrew Israelites, kings, a king's office is different than the politician. Right? Than the senator. Right? Isn't a senator a high position? But the king's office is different. And that's what we got to realize that we've been called to. And so judgment and justice leads a kingdom. And righteousness, a house, a family, right? Blessed down to the lower levels. Go ahead.
And they shall not be found where parables are spoken.
Because the truth is, they're not interested in parables. They're not interested in parables. They're occupied in their work. You know what I mean? They're what? Physical work. They're not interested in this. Like some of y'all are already a dedicated life. Your life is what? The truth. You eat, you sleep, right? Well, remember what he said in 300? How many of you are, what's your profession?
He said, Arcadian, what is your profession? He said I'm a potter.
I'm a potter, right. Which is okay. Right? It's not wrong for you to do pottery. But, bro, what's your profession? That's supposed to be a side thing. You know, right? That's what the point was of that 300 was like, it's not wrong to do that. But what's our profession? The work, the will of the Father, right? Go ahead.
But they shall maintain the state of the world.
But they're going to do what? They have their job in maintaining you deal with plumbing, you're going to take care of this plumbing, the sewage, right? So here it goes, like, which one are you? Right? That's what each and every one of us, we have to choose what do we want to be? Do we want to abide in your calling? Or do you want to let the things of the world that you figure, man, I want to be this archaeologist for Israel. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Hashem El Shai. But what did Yahweh call you to do? He said, I wanted to make you fishers of men. So how are you going to do that? And you're like, well, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to definitely be teaching. But how? When you haven't even given yourself to learning. You see, it's a psychological game. I'm going to still do that, but I'm going to do the kingship, the priestship. That's part-time. Well, then how are you ever going to be a king or a priest when you don't know how to? How were the Levites taught? Were they just sitting around and then next you know, they popped up being priests because they were Levites? Yeah, you probably get to burn the candle if you was a kid. You was burning the candle. But you even had to be of a certain age to gain certain experience and certain duties. And then, what is it to be a high priest? You see, like these different offices, we don't look at these things. We're just like, yeah, I'm a priest. And then all of a sudden, like, you don't even act like a priest. You don't talk like a priest. You don't carry yourself like a priest. Right? You're still a thug. You're still a husband. Right? which we're all gonna be, but your majority mind state is husbandry, right? So just something to think about. All right, I know we kind of went into that topic, y'all. It was a good question though. Any other questions on it? We'll finish it out with another one. You're good. You're good. No, it was really rich. Like, think about carpentry during this time. Yeah, think about carpentry during the time of, during the time of, we got no tools to where we're like moving buildings or cutting through stones with the tools we have nowadays. So you had to do everything with hand. It's funny you said that. There's I be looking into a lot of AI. So they got this machine now that can sculpture. So the people that are doing it with hands are like, that's not real sculpturing. Yeah. Why? Because these cats are literally still marble and everything. And this machine can go through and go doing it. So the cats that are sculpting is like, that's not real sculpting. And the ones that are doing it saying, I'm still a sculptor. The thing is that everything that comes out of my mind, I'm putting into the machine. And the machine doesn't do everything. I still got to come back and do certain parts. You see? So it's like, yes, that dedication, that commitment, the money that can be made from, creating and building, that was money back then. So don't be deceived. He could have lived a lifestyle that was wealthy and rich, but he did what? Like Moses, choosing rather to suffer affliction with his people, right? Than sin for a season. Yeah.
I was just thinking about what you said, and we use AI to design.
Yeah.
But I can use AI, and someone else can use AI, and we're not going to get the same
No,
design.
you're the same, exactly.
I know what I'm going to say. Like when you make your images,
Yeah.
I don't think I can make an image like yours because you know what to say. So AI or not, it's still the person.
You still got to come from your mind and put it into this machine and do it the right way, right? Whether you press up or down on the machine, you know what I mean? It's still you doing it, right? Well, some would argue with that a lot. I got a lot of brothers that is not messing with AI, right? But it's an argument. But yeah, back to the question, or I think she was asking, right? Yes, Yahweh Shai he definitely could have went down a road of finances and being wealthy, as opposed to, I'm not doing that and I gotta live where where I don't got no place to lay my head. Go get there real quick. So yes, it wasn't just a parable or idiom he was trying to get across. He literally gave it up. And you know why? Who knows why? Why? Yeah. Good one. That's a good one. She said it's hard because it's hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom. True, but that's not it. Why? What?
Greater is no man than he that lay down his life for his brother.
True. True. But why? Why did Yahweh have to? What? Why? What did it say? Oh, hold that one. That's not what I'm asking now.
Oh, sorry.
Why? What's up?
Matthew 10:8.
10:8?
Oh.
What is it?
Heal the sick.
No. Why?
Hebrews
What?
2,
What was the question?
He what?
he made himself a little lower than the angels.
Good one, but no. Why?
Oh, he came not to do his own will, but
True. These are all right. But let's think about it. Why did he have to go through that? What was the main point? You called it.
Yeah.
No, but you didn't. You said something else
Okay.
when you called the scripture.
All right. So Can I read it?
Yeah, where you at?
Yeah, I'll just read it. Hebrews chapter 2
Uh-huh.
and verse starting at verse 7.
Right.
Hold on.
See, it's actually down. It's actually down more. Jump down to verse
14.
14.
God.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14. For inasmuch then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same.
See, he had to go through what he was preaching. He had to do it himself. So he couldn't tell you, stop what you're doing, stop your profession, and follow me. Well, I'm fishing. This is how I make money. Well, I'm going to make you fishers of men. I didn't see what you had to give up, brother. Brother, you give it. Why I got to give up, brother? Right? Because that'd be the mind state. Like, how you want me to stop this? What the have you given up? See? He had to what? Give up. Right? Go ahead.
That through death he might destroy him that through death he might destroy him that had power of death, that is the devil.
Right. So, good one. The one I wanted that was more direct was Hebrews 4, verse 15.
Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15. For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feelings of our infirmities.
See?
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. That's the one I was thinking of.
We was all thinking of it, right? But you see, we don't got a high priest that being in Yahushua, he wasn't saying things and not putting himself through it. So he went through it too. He had to give those things up. Y'all see this? Go ahead.
But was in all points tempted. Yeah, but in all points was tempted like as we are.
There you go.
Yet without sin.
See? So he had to go through it to be able to show us how to live the example that we can do it, right? He was tempted in all manner we're tempted in. That's that other one. I thought there was another one too. What is it?
I don't know where the verse is at.
No, I'm asking you where it is.
Oh, I don't know where it's at, but I was going to say,
what's that?
the servant is no greater than the master. That was the one I was thinking about. I don't know where it's at.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right on point.
Yeah.
You're right on
I
point.
have no idea where it's at.
You could add that one too. We'll get it real quick.
Okay.
All right. But where you at?
Matthew chapter 8, verse 20. And Jesus said unto him, the foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests.
Right.
But the Son of Man have not where to lay his head.
Right. Because he what? He gave up all the amenities to live and to go through and to live the lifestyle he needed to teach his people. To be the example to his people. That makes sense? So, or not. Does that make sense? So it's important to really understand when it says that, it means that he became poor for our sakes, right? All right, you find the other one? John 13:16. Go ahead.
John chapter 13, verse 16. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that is sent him.
Right. So Yahushua had to what? Humble himself, being fashioned like a man, and it said he took no reputation. Right? So Khan says, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. What else we got? Was that it? It turned out we didn't go into what we was planning to go into. So we kind of ran with the question because it was a good question. So we changed the title of class and all that, but we had something else planned. Yeah.
I had a question on the last question.
You had a question on the last question?
Yeah, I just was waiting for the appropriate time to bring it out.
Okay, what's your question?
So, we was talking about how the ministry is basically where your gifts is supposed to be going. And, you know, everybody has their gifts. So, we got into how basically the council and basically, how, the Lord is basically going to be getting men of counsel to get things done. I was trying to get more understanding on how that would work, on, you know, how when men are called, you know, what they called for, like, what are they supposed to be? Because I know everything is supposed to be for the body.
Right.
So I just wanted to get some understanding on that. Like how, like what would they be getting called for and stuff? Like how they be helping out?
I think you're overcomplicated. You know this answer. You're overcomplicated. Let's start back from the basics. The basics is you're called to be a what?
A priest first.
Right?
King priest.
First, say Jeremiah 1, right? 1 and 10. Let's go there real quick. You know this.
Yeah.
You're just, the way you're going about your question is, I think, kind of confusing yourself. Go to Jeremiah 1 and 10. And then give me the 1 Peter 2 and 19. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 10. See, I have this day set thee over the nations,
right,
and over the kingdoms,
right,
to root out and to pull down,
right,
and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
So I know you're like, but that's Jeremiah. Okay, well, whatsoever was written aforetime was written for our learning, right? Let's go now. Let's add the precept to understand that. Don't know. This is just not talking about Jeremiah. What?
Verse 5.
Verse 5. Jump to verse 5 and then go ahead.
Before I formed thee in the belly,
right,
I knew thee.
Right.
And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee.
Right. To be what?
And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
So it's not just talking about Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Right? It's talking about who? Israel. Right? It's talking about the chosen. It's talking about, let's be real, the ones that will abide in their calling. Because many are what?
Called. Few chosen.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of what? There's a lot what?
Called. A lot of people called.
I'm going to say it again. There's a lot called, but how many want to choose their path?
Few chosen.
Yeah, few are chosen because they don't want to walk that path. They're like, well, you know, I really didn't have this plan.
How are you choosing?
Right? You're supposed to choose, right? Hey, Shalom, I called you to be a king. Psh, I ain't nobody's king. You know, I'm just me. How many of our people talk like that? Man, you're chosen above all nations on the face of the earth. Not me. Look, I ain't trying to be better than nobody.
Ain't trying to do all that.
I'm trying to do all that. Look. I got my wife, got my kid, got my bro, I'm good. Like some people just don't want kingship. Right? Where are we at?
First Peter 2 and 9.
2 and 9. Go ahead.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9.
Go ahead.
But ye are a chosen generation.
Right.
And royal priesthood.
So the Most High chose us to be this priesthood. Right? From the foundation. Israel. To get the world together, right? And doing the will of the Father, right? You see that? So what question are you asking again?
Basically, sorry.
While he's thinking this, let's go to the next step. Go to Hebrews 5.
Oh, no, I don't have it.
Okay. Go ahead. Because you asked about counsel. Well, it's almost like you don't know who he's asking to be the counselors. The ones he called.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that. He's like, you're overcomplicating this. The ones he called to be the nation of kings and priests, who was going to guide the people right? Who was going to lead them with right counsel?
The priests.
Right, the priests. Right? Get out of your head that a priest is someone that just comes in, dances on the podium, and then Crip walks on $1,000. A priest was more than that. Or a brother that shows up on the Shabbat and yells at white people on the corners.
That's right.
That's not a priest. That's a brother that is yelling at white people on the corners. Right? The priesthood is based more than just that. And I'm specifically pointing out, if you think it was only to show up at the street speaking and cut, that's part of the priesthood. To teach, right? And to teach properly, and to fulfill all these other duties in the priesthood. Like, think about it. What did Aaron do? What did Moses do? Right? And then jumping back to that first, Deuteronomy 1. Right? We'll jump over there real quick. Where are you at?
Hebrews chapter 5 verse 1.
Right.
For every high priest taken from among men,
Right.
is ordained from men,
Right.
in things pertaining to the Most High.
See? Every high priest or priest is taken from among men to be what?
Priests.
No, read.
Come.
To be what? Taken from among men to be what?
In things pertaining to the Most High.
Right, but read that part again. Read it again.
For every high priest taken from among men,
Right.
is ordained for men.
That's the point I wanted. Was ordained for men. What are these men? What are we doing for the men, women, and children? Well, Solomon showed us best. They brought the instances before him. Hey, we got two women. One says this is her daughter. The other one says it's her daughter. What did you have there? Judgment that had to be laid down. Counsel, wisdom, equity, justice had to be taught in that moment. That's what these men are doing. Right. That's why it's just not, oh, I got Christ breaking. The white man's a devil. I could drop those scriptures and then boom, I'm out. Bro, what about the healing part? What about when you don't need a cut, you need to heal? You need to strengthen. You need a comfort. There's many things in that, but we got this idea that the priesthood is just only cutting. And then I'm a priest, and I can go back. I can put my nigga clothes on again. It don't work like that, right? We're being proper. If that's the case, you could have just went to church. You could have just went to church, right? Go ahead.
In things pertaining to the Most High.
And things pertaining to the Father. Go ahead.
That he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins.
See, it wasn't just the duty of you at the pulpit, right? You were offering what? It was duties that came with this whole process, right? In your office. And yes, there were different offices in the priesthood, right? As we all know, because we're well known with Leviticus. We just been over all this, right? There was the candle guy. There was the guy that did the curtains. There was the guy that, the silverware, right? So, and of course, the more and more you step up in these offices, the serious it gets, right? Yeah. That's why even the Roman Catholic Church, they got the what? The altar boards, right? And then what they do, they get the stuff prepared for the what? The priest. They stole that from us, right? They didn't steal the touching boys from us. They got that from the Hamites.
That's all I know.
You know what I mean? Because we didn't do that. Right? Go ahead, read.
God. Who can have compassion on the ignorant?
Right. You see this? You see all the duties. It wasn't just one thing. Oh, I set up the candles. You know what I mean? You know what I taught my class, nigga? I gotta go. Bro, hey, let me rap you for a minute. No, that's not my job. Like, God, my job is to be a brother, a husband, a daddy, a priest, a counselor, right? A worker. Like, who's doing it? It's no longer the white man. You can't depend on the white man to what? Give you the EBT card and take care of the priesthood. Right? You know, like Esau got it for us. I can go send us a check and or a scripture and is going to counsel the next brother. No, we got to give ourselves to the body, to the brotherhood. Go ahead.
And on them that are out of the way.
And on them that are out of the way. Go ahead.
For that he himself also is compassed with infirmity.
Right. Now jump down to verse 12.
Verse 12.
Uh-huh.
For when for the time ye ought to be teachers,
Right.
ye have need that one teach you again.
So if I don't know how to be a counselor, right? Or if I don't have these qualities to be a counselor or a leader, right? Then I have to learn those things. You can't, like a lot of us you don't got that when you come in. Most of the time, you just want to sit in class and not be bothered and go to work and come back like you did Christianity. I go to work, come back, sit down, read the Bible, hallelujah, serve the Sabbath, right? Which is the new Sunday for Israelites, right? I do the Sabbath, I don't have to do nothing else. You're called to be a nation of kings and priests. That entails a lot of duties, right? So just to go back and then go to Deuteronomy 1. Deuteronomy 1 and what was it?
13.
Y'all coming with some questions today, all right. We haven't had questions in a minute.
13 to 17.
What is it?
13.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 13.
Yeah, go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 13.
Go ahead.
Take you wise men.
Right.
And understanding.
Right. And what?
And understanding.
What about if you don't understand nothing?
And understanding.
I mean, like, think about it. What had to happen if you don't understand?
Ask for understanding.
You got to get understanding. How do you do that? According to Hebrews 5 and 12 said what? You got to be taught how to understand. So it wasn't just like you was born with, you know what? No, you wanted it, and then you inquired. What did Solomon say? He said, from his youth up, he was a witty boy, right? And he wanted wisdom. Go ahead.
That means he applied Proverbs 4 and 7. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. With all that getting, get understanding.
Yeah.
Good, you're right, but you know, you're right. But I think he probably followed Proverbs 3 first.
God.
My son, if thou wilt hear,
God.
right? And then the father and the mother's giving him wisdom, and he what? He listened to that.
And he's asking more questions to get more understanding.
There you go. So like he wasn't like the king for no reason.
Nah.
If that was the case, Absalom could have been king. Who's his other brother that slept with his sister? That slept with Tamar.
Tamar?
No, that was
Damn, I forgot his name, but remember his other brother? Like, he could have been king. You know, he tried to take over the kingdom. Right? Then Absalom tried to take it. So why was it given to Solomon? Because the Most High knew the spirit was on him, the spirit of wisdom, judgment, equity, all these qualities that his father was instilling in him, he picked up. So it wasn't just that all of a sudden you got understanding. You had to, the scriptures say you had to apply your mind. Right? Go ahead.
Take you wise men.
Right.
And understanding.
Right.
And known among your tribes.
And then you had to be what?
Known among your tribes.
Everybody, like, you had to be vouched for. Another one that Israel likes to skip. They don't want to, nobody has to vouch for me. My red vouches for me. Yeah, I know scriptures. That vouches for me. Nah. If that was the case, what about the wolves in sheep clothing? They got scriptures too. Right? Go ahead.
And known among your tribes.
Right.
And I will make them rulers over you.
Right.
And ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do.
Right.
So I took the chief of your tribes,
right,
wise men, and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes.
Right. So that's where we get that from. Well, we always said whether you want to use the Torah terminology of rank, or you want to do the New Testament version, which is bishop, pastor, deacon. All it is just titles, that offices that you're going to have to take, right? It really doesn't change, because what stands the same is the quality of the character and all the righteous attributes you're supposed to put on. That stays the same, right? Right? What's up?
His name was Amnon.
Right, Amnon. Okay. So yeah, Amnon, he could have been priest, but he was a loony, right? Go ahead. I mean, he could have been king, excuse me. Go ahead.
And I charge your judges
Right.
at that time,
Go ahead.
saying, hear the causes between you, hear the causes between your brethren.
So think about it. How can you hear the causes or have that counsel? Back to your question. How could you be that counselor when you're bad at counsel? You had to do what? Learn.
To learn, yeah.
You had to go under the tutelage. Like, he started being around brothers and watching. And his conversation is like, wow, that counsel you just did, that's crazy. And he's like, wow, how you went about and did. He's listening and he's like, oh, damn, I would have never, or now I see a way, right? You start to learn these things. It's like me, I wasn't a counselor until my elders showed me about counsel. And then being in a lot of counsels, right? As a young man, right? You had to learn that, right? Then you have to have the scriptures with that, the proper judgment. So it ain't just because, oh, I got the scriptures. Because one thing you got to know about judgment and counsel, it's timing as well. You see that? Timing, equity, judgment, all these things need to be applied. What's up? Go ahead, read on.
Hear the causes between your brethren,
right?
And judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him. Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great.
Right. And just like the last council. Okay. The sister was like, well, I think you're going to take the sister's side. I'm like, I'm not going to even let the sister speak. I asked all the other sisters. So sisters, was it like this? They were like, well, not really. Okay. One sister, well, not really. From what I seen, it wasn't like what she's saying. Okay, then you let that one sister or the sisters vouch for this sister, right? So it takes experience. It takes you first starting in your house and judging your situations with your rib and your kids correctly. If you can't do that according to Timothy's, you're not going to be able to come into the house of the Lord and have that equity and judgment in the house of the Lord. You see? Yeah. So, I mean, we don't have to go. You get that, right?
Yeah, I get that now.
That makes sense? Yeah. But, yeah, we'll just answer that. Anything else? Yeah. Nothing else?
No, nothing.
We'll wait a few seconds. Y'all got anything in here?
La.
Y'all good?
Con.
Those jobs be wearing your ass out, huh? I know.
I'm good today.
You good today?
I'm good today.
What's up?
Can we go over 2nd Ezra 4 and 29?
Mm-hmm.
So my question with this verse is the angel saying to Ezra, is this what has to happen before the coming of Christ?
2nd Ezra 4. Let's start at
verse 22.
Okay.
God. 2nd Ezra 4 verse 22. Then answered I and said, I beseech thee, O Lord, let me have understanding. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily, namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen, and for what cause the people whom thou hast loved is given over to ungodly nations,
right?
And why the law of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenant come to none effect. And we have passed away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is astonishment and fear.
Right, because the way Ezra was coming, kind of overstepping, right? So the angel had to put him in line, right? And now he's explaining where his mind was coming from and why he was so a little bit overstepping, right? Go ahead.
And we are not worthy to obtain mercy. What will he then do unto his name, whereby we are called?
Right.
Of these things have I asked. Then answered he me and said, The more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hasteth fast to pass away.
Right. It's almost like it's not fast enough though, right? He said the more you see, the more you'll see that everything is coming to a conclusion. It sees it, like even in our generation, right? Like you can look at during their time, right? And look at during the time of Christ, right? Because Christ was the beginning of the end, right? When Christ died, that was the beginning of the end, to where all these prophecies and that everybody forementioned in the past would come to pass, right?
God.
So you see time speeding up. Like, is it like that for y'all? Is time moving fast for y'all?
God.
Seriously?
God.
Because I be thinking sometimes, like, it's just because me, like, somebody said the older you get, the time goes faster. And I'm like, bruh, it's just moving so fast, right?
God.
It went from 40 to 48 like that. Boom. Right? Is it like that with you?
I was just thinking, like when I was just 21, like when I just met you, I'm down 25 now, like that.
Time is rolling.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's moving very quick. And then when you look back, you're like, man, what did I get accomplished from this time to this time? You know, examining yourself. But this is what the scriptures is reminding us, that time is hasting, right?
God.
If you look in, and the more you get into these scriptures, the things start, it's like you start seeing too many things that are like scriptural coincidence. You're like, the word of the Most High gotta be true, right? You're like, this ain't or rather not a coincidence. This is the word coming to pass, right?
God.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 27. And cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come.
Right.
For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities.
Right, and a lot of times I said it the other day, I'm like, I think I was either talking to my rib or my son, I was like, it's almost right there, like you can see Esau under your feet, but you can't. How many of y'all feel like that? Like, it's like right there, he's around our neck is in my hand, but then you're like, damn, it's so far away, it's like, how long, Lord? How long, right?
God.
You're like, you're at work, you get Esau, you get the nations, and you're like, my throat is your hand is so close to my damn throat. You just don't understand, right? And what it said, patience possesses your souls, right? Here's the patience and faith of the saints, right? But it is going there in the Most High's time, right? Go ahead.
Verse 28. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me,
Right.
I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come.
Right? So the evil is sown, right? Meaning that the things that they've done, it's like a blowback, right? It's like the wickedness is consuming fast, but it's like he used the analogy of shooting an arrow, right? It moves so fast, right? You don't see, like if it shoots through something, you don't see the hole till after the arrow's already gone through it, right? So you see the outcome of it after the fact. That's what wickedness has done through time. It's consumed, and the blowback of everything is now we're like, oh dang, this is what wickedness yields for us that are alive and woke. Because the zombies don't see none of this. They're only watching Netflix. We see the blowback from sin. That makes sense? Go ahead. Yeah.
It's just like what you said, Ecclesiastes 10 and Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 8. Because why does it feel like the nations, Esau, the nations are now starting to look at you as, like we went over the other day, Isaiah 13, I will make a man more precious than gold. Why? What makes us precious? Well, what will give us rule and dominion over them? Wisdom, locking back into the ways of the Most High. How did we lose this kingdom? How did we lose the earth? The same way that they're losing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're waking up, coming back to our rightful place. Because you go to this Ezra with that Ezra 6 and 54 down
Right.
about how the earth was made for our sakes. And these heathens are now over us because of what? Our unrighteousness. So it feels like we're close because now we're coming back to the Lord's statutes and commandments. While they were, read the scripture, while they were made in wickedness. We that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Right. And what did the truth do for us? It's cleaning up those evil doings, those unrighteous dealings. And that's where, when you go back to that, Ezra, read that verse 30 again.
Verse 28.
28, yeah.
But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come.
Right. No, go, what was your question? 29, right?
Verse 29.
Yeah.
If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down,
Right.
and if the place where evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good.
How are we going to get the world back? How are we going to get the scripture said to the fullness of the Gentiles, right? Like, look at how far in wickedness the scripture talk about how wickedness waxed and evil and hatred waxed, right? Look at the time that we're in right now. It's like, how far can we get? We talked about it the other day. The artificial cyborgs that's carrying babies, everything to do what? Put themselves above the Most High. How long, Yahweh? How long? Look at all of this that's sown evil and opposite of you. What does it take? It takes for them to do that wickedness, but it also takes us to lock back into the righteousness. That's what Ezra is always in that mind. Yeah.
Okay, so read 29 again, because no. I just want to kind of just break it down to the basics so he can see. Go ahead.
Verse 29. If therefore that which is sown.
Okay, so the seed, remember agriculture again, right? They take the seed, and the seed is an apple. We want to sow apples in the ground, but it's the seed. So you're not putting the apple in the ground, you're putting the seed of the apple.
Right.
So what has to happen for that apple to bring forth? Water it.
A process.
What is the process? Go to Corinthians.
Well, first it has to die.
There it is. That's the answer. It has to what?
It has to die.
It has to die. Right? So this same analogy is used in Corinthians, right? About the seed. About the same seed has to die to bring forth life. To be resurrected. So it's telling us about this new period. What has to happen? There has to be death. Right? That the breakdown, the dissolving, the consuming of this whole period in order for us to see the theme, the beauty that comes forth from that, right? Which is, I don't know how it happens, but you put a seed in the ground in dirt, and then from dirt comes an apple. You're like, damn, the Most High is crazy. It's dope, right? But it's nasty. It's gritty. It's filthy. That's what we're in now. The grit, the dirt, the filth, and we're not going to see this till that seed of wickedness is what? Destroyed, consumed, rooted out. You got it? It's in Corinthians. I thought it was in. It's about resurrection. It says, don't you know, man, the same. Watch. 1 Corinthians. But that makes sense? So read it again.
If therefore that which is sown
right.
be not turned upside down.
Right, be not turned upside down, meaning it goes through the process, right? You put the seed into the ground, it breaks down and germinates. You turn over the soil, right? Go ahead.
And if the place where the evil is sown pass not away.
Right.
Then cannot.
Right. How does the evil pass away? Or how is the seed process done? That it germinates, it breaks down, it dies. That's the evil passing away. And we know how it's going to die. Right?
God.
That fire, that destruction. Where is it?
Talking about 2 and 6.
1 Corinthians, no. 15, go to 15 and,
Sorry, 12?
no, jump down, read 36. Now, I'm only going here, this is two different things. But it's yet telling us about the seed analogy. So let's get it right. Paul is talking about resurrection. Ezra is talking about that seed, or in this analogy, the way he's giving it is wickedness. So I'm only going here to show you that it's the same process with the seed, where if you looked it up and Googled it, you would see the process of the seed is that death, the dying, the breaking down of the germination, right? All right, so I don't want you to be like, Paul is talking on the same thing. Just know that. He's talking about resurrection, and he's using the same analogy as the seed, right? And what has to happen to that seed? Read that.
1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 35.
Uh-huh.
But some men will say, how are the dead raised up?
Right.
And with what body do they come?
Go ahead.
Thou fool, that which thou sowest.
So it's meaning the seed, right? He's once again using that seed analogy because we were dealing with a lot of agriculture, right? Go ahead.
Thou fool, that which thou sowest is not quickened, except it die.
Except it die. You see that? So that's what he's telling us. That death has to die, right? It has to go away in order for us to be what? Brought forth as a nation, right? And this is like, when you go through this chapter, this is a threefold. He's talking about the old man, the new man. He's talking about real resurrection, right? He's talking about all those things. Now, if you wanted to link it with the Esdras, he's talking about wickedness has to go, right? In order for life to be brought in, right? Then he's talking about the fruit of the earth, right? So he's talking about all these levels. What's up?
So in Ezra's talking about wickedness, that goes for the other nations and Israel too?
What about it?
Just okay.
Yeah, everybody. We know that. There's 2/3 of Israel that's going to die. There's a lot of the nations that are going to die. In order for the earth to be brought forth to the new world, it says in Esdras, it says Esdras, God dang, 15. I'm sorry, First Esdras, or is it 9? Let me look. Hold on. The new world, the world that was created is for few, but the new world is the old world is for many, but the new world is for few.
It's 8 and 3.
Okay, First Esdras. Trying to go off the brain here, and my memory is getting shot. Or is it Second Esdras?
Second Esdras.
Second Esdras. Okay, go ahead, read that.
Second Esdras 8 and verse 1. And he answered me, saying, the Most High hath made this world for many,
Right.
but the world to come for few.
Right. So this is everybody. This is like, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth. Billions of people are going to die. Right? And in order for us and the nations to, because everybody wants it. They want peace. They want better water. They want better air. They want better trees. Right? They want that. They just don't know what it's going to take. Right? It's going to take the Thanos snap. It's going to take the Thanos snap. Wickedness got to go and righteousness got to live. But I was just showing you in that Corinthians that Paul was using the same analogy when speaking with resurrection. So, I stand corrected. I mean, literally, even though he's talking about resurrection, he's still talking about the old man and wickedness dying. So they were talking about the same thing if you really want to look at it. So, yeah, read on.
Let me jump back to the second.
For Corinthians 15 and
Verse 36.
Yeah.
Thou fool, that which thou sowest is not quickened, except it die.
So let's use, because he's talking about the same thing. The seed, that is not an apple. You're not just going to go throw a bunch of seeds in your mouth, apple seeds, and say, this is a good apple. No, it's not an apple until what? The process happens of this apple dying and being born again. The same thing with us in this new world. The old, the death, the wickedness has to die. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 37. And that which thou sowest not that body.
Right, so you're not taking an apple and shoving it into the ground. No, you're taking the seed and putting it into the ground. You don't sow the body that you want.
Right.
You don't take a banana and shove it into the earth. Right? Not necessarily, right? You can take the seed, but you don't put the whole banana, right?
No.
Go ahead.
The body that shall be, but bear grain.
But bear grain. But that's what you do. You get the grain. Go ahead.
It may change of wheat.
Right, or a chance of wheat. Go ahead.
Chance of wheat. Or of some other grain.
Go ahead.
But the Most High giveth a body.
Right, but the Most High giveth the body, because that process, that's why I said it's so immaculate how an apple could come out of the ground off of what? A little seed. With some dirt.
Right.
With some water, right? Well, going back to the point of Esdras, that's the same process of this new life. It has to die, right? Wickedness has to die. It has to go. It ain't, that's why we always say it ain't gonna be no strippers, right? It ain't gonna be you biting the curb to get all the gold off the gold roads in Jerusalem, right? We ain't gonna be smoking blunts in the kingdom. You're with Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah.
Talk about if heaven was a ghetto. That ain't gonna happen. There ain't gonna be women wearing pants and their butts and titties showing. There ain't gonna be dope and drugs. It's gonna be, death is gonna be gone. It's gonna be swallowed up.
And that process, this one on that, Galatians 6 and 8, because it's what we're doing now. Right? Think about it. Who do you really want the old version of you? Think about it. Are you proud of the old version of you? Like that's literally why we're in here, because we want that old man, that old woman to die. Because you don't want that around the body, your new brothers, your new sisters, right? You don't want that thug, that lustful person, that deceptive person. You don't want that around what the Most High brought you to. Read that.
Galatians chapter 6 and verse 8. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption.
But that's why we're here. We understand how many visits to the abortion clinic you had. We understand how long your rap sheet is, right? Why? Because you were sowing, you were planting in your mind, in your spirit, fleshly, worldly things. But what did that come with? Right? The scripture talk about a corrupt tree brings forth what? Corrupt fruit. We were all doing that once upon a time. Right? This is why you don't add and you don't give yourself to those fleshly things. Because if you give yourself fleshly things, you're going to reap what? What did he say? Say with me, y'all.
For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption.
Reap corruption. But why is America falling? Why are they saying make America great again? Because they've been sowing fleshly things. They haven't been sowing. They haven't used this book to build their nation, build their kingdom. They haven't taught you to use this book to be a better husband, be a better father. They've been telling you fleshly things. And that's why you see this nation, this country falling apart. They've been sowing to the flesh. Read.
But he that soweth to the spirit.
However, those of us that understood that came with the war wounds, that came with the tag, man, I'm glad. Blessing your eyes that hear, right? Blessing your eyes that see, your ears that hear. Slot. Why? Because you knew that you were on your way to death. So until our flesh was on our way to death, right? But now we've got life and peace because we've been given this truth, right? Go ahead.
Shall of the spirit reap life everlasting.
It's just like what Jeremiah said. But it's like what the Most High told Jeremiah, don't put that law in your inward parts. How many of us are tempted by going to get a hooker? Not anymore. If you got an STD, right? If you got arrested for solicitation, whatever, whatever you was doing in the world, why does it pull at you? Because you killed that. You killed that fleshly part of you. You don't want to have nothing to do with that anymore. But now you're zealous. Now you're addicted to this part that's going to reap what? Eternal life. And that's the transition that we're seeing. This world doesn't want that. That's why when you have a shot come, they're going to be marrying and giving in marriage because they don't want that. That's what they desire. So they sow to the flesh. No matter how much baby mamas, no matter how much consequences come with it, they still don't see it. Yeah. They're like, nah, I'm just going to keep living my life.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to find a carnal way to overcome this pain. They're not going to transition
That's
to
the pain away.
Right. God.
That's the pain away. That's what they think.
Yeah.
Right? Or drink it away, or pill it away.
Smoke it away.
Smoke it away, right? I mean, is that good? This is a beautiful chapter, but we got to go into that. I mean, we've been over it before, but we got to go into it again. I know it'd be good for Shawab, just about that evil grain, the evil seed that was sown in Adam. Yeah, right? That goes right after that. But, all right. Yes, sir.
I got one more quick one.
Okay, go ahead.
2nd Ezra 8 and 36.
2nd Ezra 8. Oh, you in the Delvan's favorite. Yeah, I love Ezra's too, bro.
Con.
I love Ezra. The thing is, you got to read it 1,000 times, though. Like, to really get it. Like, to get it into, because, like, the parables will escape if you like, just don't meditate on this a lot. 2nd Ezra is what?
8 and verse 36.
All right.
So, my question on this, is this a good scripture to meditate on in an old age?
Go ahead, read it.
2nd Ezra 8 and verse 36. For in this, O Lord, thy righteousness and thy goodness shall be declared, if thou be merciful unto them which have not the confidence of good works.
Why did you say in old age?
Yeah.
So,
No.
so I was reading it and
You alright, Aaron? He's like, go
I don't
ahead.
think thinking of that in my old age.
Why though?
so as I was reading it, I don't know why it came to my mind, but it came to my mind in a sense of that attaining that everlasting life.
Okay, let's start at 33 then, so we can understand where your head's at.
God.
Start at 33.
Verse 33. For the just, which have many good works laid up with thee, shall out of their own deeds receive reward. For what is man, that thou shouldest take displeasure at him? Or what is a corruptible generation, that thou shouldest be so bitter toward it? For in truth, there is
It
no...
goes back to what he said, we're Job, he said, we're like grass. One day you cut us down, or is that in Proverbs? Solomon said it too, right? One day you cut us down, and the next day, you bring up somebody new, right? So what are we to the Most High? Nothing really. If it wasn't for his mercy or greatness.
David said, what is the man that you are mindful of?
Right, exactly. Go ahead.
For in truth, there is no man among them that be born, but he hath dealt wickedly. And among the faithful, there is none which hath not done amiss.
Remember, it said all have sinned. And he said our righteousness is as filthy rags.
God.
Right? This is what he's repeating, right? Go ahead.
For in this, O Lord, thy righteousness and thy goodness shall be declared, if thou be merciful unto them which have not the confidence of good works.
Right. So what he's saying is, remember, we're nothing, and all we got is your mercy, because we know. Remember, I've been over this a few times. What is going to save us? We got to go over it again then. Maybe we haven't been getting in your brain enough. What is going to save us?
Grace.
What is going to save us?
Grace.
Because you can't keep the law to the fullest ability.
Right.
And then your works, he's telling us here, you can do good works, but is it going to be good enough? No, because you're going to what? Stumble. You're going to be like, you're going to be lazy at times. You're going to mess up. You're just going to not want to do it today. Then you're going to, the next day, snap out of it, right?
We like these guys now, they start boasting.
Or boasting. Well, that's a whole other level. The boasting does work. I'm talking about us that know that no matter what we do, it's never going to be good enough. Right? And get those two, the righteous and filthy rags, those real quick to add to here. For Shawab got to get all this. I know these are new things for Shawab that we got to start going back over. So that's what he's saying. He's saying, for in this, O Lord, thy righteousness and thy goodness shall be declared. Where? Knowing that our works are not good enough. That's where it's going to be declared. Like, no matter what we do, it's all going to come down to, you know what? You sucked at this. You sucked at that. You were garbage at this. But your spirit and what you did, when you did it with your whole heart. That's why I'm going to let you in. Right? And that, that's me putting preferences on, the scriptures, right? Because when you look at it, that's how it's going to come. It's not going to come any other way. Like, he's not going to say, okay, hey, you kept the law all the way through, brother. Or, brother, you know what? You didn't stop with the works. Who is he going to say that to? Right? Look at Moses. He was all the way on point and then messed up one thing. Solomon, you all the way turned up and then lost your damn mind. David, a man after his own heart. Man, that's my guy. Oh, you proved me wrong. Oh, what you doing? Right? Like, you're a man after my whole heart, then you go commit adultery with a Hamite woman. Right? Exactly. Pwah, 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 pwah. It's like, so, like, even all his integrity and everything he did, we fall short, right? In a lot of things. So, he's saying here, if thou be merciful unto them which have not the confidence of good works, then answered he me and said, some things have thou spoken aright, and according to unto thy words it shall be. Which is what? By grace ye are saved. Right. The Lord looking at us and saying, look, I'm looking at your spirit. It's a broken and contrite heart, a humble heart, a meek. You bounce back. Yahweh, against thee only have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight. It's not this, what these new gens, these cats are thinking they're, well, new but not new. Because I remember being 15 and brothers back then thought they were somebody. It's the spirit in these egotistic Negroes that think they're somebody, or because we put in a little works where we something is due to us. The Most High don't owe us jack. We owe the Most High everything. But that makes sense? Where you at?
Isaiah 6.
Where you at?
Isaiah chapter 64, verse 6.
Go ahead.
But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags.
Yeah, you know what a filthy rag is? Like a period rag. That's what, remember, they didn't have tampons back in the days. Right? So you're either dealing with a dookie rag or a period rag. Pick one. He's like, that's what it means. Like, why? Because that's going to keep us pursuing. That's going to keep us like Yahweh Shai. He took on no reputation. Right? But cats think, what? I've been in the truth for such. I done gave up. You know what I mean? We've had brothers that been in the truth for 4 or 5 years. Bro, I gave it all up for the truth. Why doesn't the Most High just give me? It's like, brother, you're crazy if you think Yahweh's going to give you what you don't deserve or what you think you deserve. You know, it don't work like that. Our righteousness, we started out of the belly acting wild. I look at my son right now, I'm like, damn. When the Most High said we're born in iniquity, I'm like, this dude's wilding. Like, you got a lot of character defects in your too. I'm like, I gotta go undo all of this? What the hell? Well, Yahweh, please be with me, because I gotta go into this guy's spirit, and he's only 2. And you know what I mean, like, they own the world, right? They come out, what? They own it. So now you gotta undo the selfishness. You gotta undo the, no, I ain't gonna do that. You know, you gotta undo all of that. We're born into iniquity. So we gotta undo these things. Go ahead. Was that it?
I know.
Go ahead.
And we all do fade as a leaf.
Right. We all do fade as a leaf. What's the other one?
Romans.
Uh-huh.
Romans chapter 3 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
For all have sinned and come short of the glory of the Most High.
Yeah, Romans what?
3 and verse 23.
Right. All have sinned and come falling short of the glory of the Most High. So what he's pointing out here is that in our fall, no matter how much works we got under our belt, we're gonna need you to look down upon us and say, you know, give us a mercy, right? That makes sense? Yeah. Am I not merciful? Am I not merciful?
He shall be known as Yahweh.
Right? Yahweh the merciful. Anything else? Those are good questions, though, y'all. We haven't had questions in a minute, so I like the questions. Switches everything up. Changes the mode. All right. Anything else online? Anything else in here? La? Can I get a strong Sabbath la? There we go. They're woke in here, y'all. They're woke. All right. If that's it, nothing online. Remember, it is the Shabbat. It is the Sabbath. Keep your mind. It's the Sabbath. Keep your mind and your spirit in the right place. Above all days, let's keep the Sabbath day holy. And say Shabbat Shalom to everybody online.
Shabbat Shalom.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you made me want to get in that Ezra's now.